200, how are you? Today is Monday, June 8th, all right? And you guys have been rifling in your first written assignment, your critical thinking assignment one, okay? Where you went to the awesome website, okay? That is indicated right here. Didn't you think the data that was available in this website is just phenomenal, you know? So I don't think you're ever going to think forget the World Bank ever again. And if you guys are financial people, business majors, there's equally awesome data that you can obtain from the World Bank website to make predictions, and that's what you're going to be hired to do. You're going to be hired to make predictions based so that you can make good investments and push the world forward. All righty. So, all right, let's get into our weekly assignment here. Okay. And so what we've done, we've covered week 1 and 2. All right, so you guys got a pretty good handle on the world demography, the socioeconomic influences that aging has. We looked at our country. You guys saw your individual generation, all right, Gen Z, and the hurdles you have ahead of you. A lot of growing pains right now, which is just awesome. A lot of learning for all of you right now. And I want to do a shout out to all you guys for being really active. When Julie was young, she was out there on the streets protesting all the time, and you should be doing the same to institute change. So kudos to you guys. All righty. We went over cancer, okay, and Julie last week gave her very personal statement about cancer and talked about the different rates of death that happen with cancer, the survival rates, and where we're making headway and where we need to still have a lot of work. And today we're doing diabetes. Okay, this is a big one. It's very current right now, and diabetes causes just a whole spectrum of conditions. Okay, and so people that are diabetics, they're part of what's called the metabolic syndrome that results in kidney disease, that results in heart disease, that results ultimately we're going to see they're referring to Alzheimer's disease as type 3 diabetes. Okay, um, is because it's age related and it's related to diabetes, and that 80% of Alzheimer's patients have diabetes. The most common form of diabetes is age related. Okay, that's type 1, type 2 diabetes. I apologize for that. And that is mostly due to insulin resistance, although you do get pancreatic failure later on where you're not producing enough insulin. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease where your immune system at a very young age actually destroys your insulin producing cells. The end result is you can't, either way, you're not able to package the glucose, and then that causes a whole cascade of problems that we're going to talk about. So what we want you to do is just to go in and show some curiosity on the website that is put together by the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases. Okay, just as a backup, we have all the individual PDF files that you can look at if for some reason the website were to go down. What we'd rather have you do is do what you always do and just be curious. So you go into the website, all right, and then you scroll down and you can see where I've been poking around. What is diabetes? So you ask yourself, what is diabetes? You go in there and you look at it and you read up on it and you find out what the diabetic condition is. Okay, um, and it goes through okay how when you have a meal, okay, your blood glucose get high, and your pancreas senses that and releases insulin, and the insulin is sort of like a key that fits into a lock in all your cells that says, hey, let's package away all the different types of diabetes. So here it talks about type 1 diabetes. Again, this is an autoimmune disease. And then type 2, which is age related. There's a lot of genetic predispositions that goes with this. Okay. Um, because of the hormonal changes, you can also get gestational diabetes. Okay. And this is temporary, but it is still a risky condition for the mom and for the baby. Okay. All righty. All right. So again, it goes through all these things, and then these are the complications: heart disease, stroke, kidney disease. Anywhere where the blood vessels go, you're going to have a problem. All right. And just a heads up. Okay, the diabetic condition is a super high risk for death from SARS-CoV-2 infection and subsequent COVID-19 disease. And it has so much to do with the biology of diabetes that the coronavirus pirates it, and we'll talk about that later on. All right, so this goes through all that, all right? So then you just you go back to the home page, okay? Either can click here or you can go backward in your browser. Go back to the home page right here. All right, I'm going to go this way. I'd rather go this way to where I was because I liked it better. So, all right, cool. This one. All right, these are the tests that you do. Okay, so we can look at your kind of acute blood glucose levels, and we can also look at your chronic levels of glucose. That's what the hemoglobin A1C test is. It's the level of sugar attachment to the protein that you find in your red blood cells called hemoglobin. So it's a really good kind of chronic measure of how diabetic you are. You're going to back that up with a fasting blood glucose test, okay, that you want to be 100 milligrams per deciliter or lower. You can do a glucose challenge test, okay, right? And this is where you fast, okay, and then they'll go in, they give you a set amount of glucose, and then they'll look at 2 hours later and see what your glucose looks like. It should be about 140. And with the A1C, you should be at a level of 3 or letter, 3 milligrams per deciliter or less, okay? Super important. All right, so this goes into insulin resistance. What happens is there's a lot of pathology that happens with high blood glucose, and ultimately it causes through inflammation, okay, is a problem. Through hormone level changes isn't another problem. The insulin receptors become less responsive to insulin. And then that just begets higher blood glucose levels, that begets higher inflammation, obesity, and again, the more the inflammation, the more resistance, the more disease, okay? So go ahead and look into that, and then you click on here, and here's some complications, all right? So diabetic neuropathy, all right? So this is where you start getting pain, and then also loss of sensation of touch, and then loss of pain sensation later on. It's all over the place. But ultimately, what happens is it puts you at really high risk to lose your extreme peripheral body parts, like your feet, your fingers, and things like that, toes and stuff like that. So it's really a bummer, okay? Here's the heart disease and stroke. Anywhere where the blood vessels go is a problem, okay? Diabetic kidney disease. So many people I know that had diabetes that lost their kidneys because, again, what do your kidneys do? Your kidneys have the biggest arteries in your body, short of this one going up to your brain. And what they do is they're constantly filtering out the blood, trying to get rid of the impurities. But because of diabetes, the blood vessels get all screwed up, the kidneys stop working, contaminants back up, and you got a problem. All right, so just sift through these, okay? Show some curiosity, and I'm not going to be doing this for you, all right? And then you just, again, you open this up, and then at the same time, you watch these 2 videos, and then you go down here and you take the quiz, okay? All right, these are pretty straightforward videos. This explains this concept of insulin resistance. There are changes in hormones from tummy obesity that cause insulin resistance. When you are releasing all these nasty inflammatory messengers from your immune system cells, which happens with chronic disease, you get insulin resistance, okay? And there are actually hormones released by your pituitary that then goes from your brain that influence insulin resistance, a hormone called growth hormone, okay? So as a package, all that leads to problems. And then this goes through. It's a really cool video about the complications that diabetics have. Okay, it's a guy named John, right? So it's only a 5-minute video.
Hello, everyone. My name's John.
What an awesome dude. Okay, and he'll tell you what his life is like. Okay, all right. So let's go down here and look at the complications. Now this seems like a lot. Okay, what is an elevation of blood glucose? Hyper means a lot, and glycemia means glucose. So you have a high glucose. So then you get glucose toxicity, all right? Right here it says age. That doesn't stand for old age. It stands for advanced glycation. Okay, here's the glycemia and glycation. end products where proteins get candy coated, and then they're really toxic, and then it impairs your mitochondria and stimulates receptors to increase all this oxidative stress that is really, really bad for cells and begins to kill them off. Okay, this is why you take your antioxidants, okay, to get rid of this. Alrighty. If you don't have energy, okay, and mitochondrial cells begin to malfunction, and all this oxidation and all this glucose then stimulates immune system cells and associated cells to start pouring out these inflammatory messengers right here. And that's what this is talked about right there. Okay. All right. The last thing we see over here, okay, um, is you get high levels of fats in your blood system. Like I said, there's a tendency towards what's called visceral fat, big tummy fat, okay? And then causes all these problems. Now, this one is particularly of interest to me. It says RAAS overstimulation. That's the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, okay? Why is this important, okay? Because it is this angiotensin system, when it is overstimulated, that puts you at super high risk for infection from SARS-CoV-2. And then from that infection, because the balance is all messed up, because that's how the virus gets into your body by going to these receptors, then diabetics are at the highest risk group. Okay. Now, the next lecture we're going to talk about diabetic heart disease, and all these things can lead to heart dysfunction, cardiac dysfunction. This is the resting blood pressure. Okay, so this is diastolic dysfunction, so elevation of resting blood pressure when your blood vessels are coated with candy and swollen. And then systolic dysfunction is the blood pressure that exists in your blood vessels when the heart goes whoosh and pushes the blood into the blood vessels. They're supposed to expand and say thank you and then push it along, but not when they're candy coated and not when there's inflammation and disease. Okay, so as a result, then the heart has to work super hard to push the blood out of these messed up blood vessels. Okay, and it gets big and thick. It can't get enough oxygen to its muscles. It begins to die. It becomes fibrotic, and you get diabetic cardiomyopathy. All right. All right. So this again is this figure that illustrates this concept. So these are two different figures of insulin resistance. Okay. So you have a meal. In comes the glucose. The blood vessels in your pancreas say, "Hey, here comes glucose," and it secretes out the insulin. Insulin is supposed to bind to your fat cells, muscle cells, okay, brain cells, and then let in the glucose, but it's not going to let it do it. It's not going to do it if this insulin receptor is not working. That's what that's all about. All right. Now we're going to jump to the fun part, okay? And we're going to have you play with some calculators. So this right here is your body mass index calculator that you can access, okay? And then we have some calculators that look at a calculation of your lifespan. Just play with it. This one is kind of interesting because you can go back and forth. This one allows you to put in race and see what it does. These are what's important about these. These are from insurance companies, okay, drug companies, and so they make judgments based on gender, body weight, and ethnicity that that are really not fair. All right, so go in there and plug away and see what I'm talking about. So this is from the Social Security Administration. There's a lot of different calculators that I want you to become familiar with. Someday you're going to want to do a retirement estimator, okay? What age can I retire? All right. All these calculators where you get to enter information about yourself, okay? We're getting down here to the life expectancy calculator, all right? So I can go like this. I can hit male, all right? My date of birth, okay? Guess what? It's right there, June. Coming up, man. It's almost birthday time. 30, and scroll down here too. That's right, I'm going to be 64, so that puts me at 56. Okay, pretty simple calculator, survey says. All right, so at this age right here, which I am, okay, I have an additional life expectancy of 19.8 years, so I could live to 83.8. But the longer you live, the longer you're expected to live, okay, because you're bypassing all the disease processes. All right, so let's just go for grins. Let's go back here. Let's pretend I'm a female. Okay. Um, so all right, so I was about 85. God, it shows you my short-term memory. Let's just take a look here. All right. 86.4. I just added a couple of years just by being a woman. All right. So that's really, really interesting. All right. So 87.7 here, 84.6. Let's go back and let's become a man again. Okay. 83.8 and 85. See, it's just I lose years by being a man. All right. So and again, these are actuarial tables that companies can use that can determine lots of different things. This is another one that's kind of fun. All right. So it's my longevity calculator. We get to watch right here. Right. So alrighty. So what am I? I'm gonna be. I'm 60. Let's call me 64. Right. And let's say these are all the same, all right? Let's say I do not use tobacco, all right? Cool. Look at I got some. Do I drink sometimes? All right. It's actually a good thing. Rarely. Uh-oh. See, just a little bit of stress reduction. Do I drink all the time? Bummer. Okay. All right. So, what happens here? Let's choose maleness. Male. All right. Female. Male. And it has to do with the productive effects that estrogen has throughout most of your lifespan, okay? And because of immune functions, right? Women have a better immune system than we have men, and because of that whole system I was talking to you about and how we do with high blood pressure. Women got it going on compared to us. We have a lot more hypertension. All right, so that one's fun. All right, so just play with it, check it out, and then go ahead and jump into the discussion. And that's what the whole point of this is your discussion and what your impression is. Okay, this one again is the next one down here is from an investment company. All right, so they want you to buy an annuity. All right, all right, all right. So how long will I live? All right, so I can say male. All right, white. Okay. These are my U.S. metrics. Let's just say I'm 60. Let's just leave it as is. All right. All right. I have a college education. All right. All right. I'm married. Okay. I'm working. I make some good money. All right. Pretty good fitness. Do I have diabetes? Yes. Right there. That's an important question to ask because it's just going to shorten your life. I've never smoked. Okay. And there you go. Let's calculate it. And there's your review of who we are. Wait a minute. Let's be real. I'm not 5'7". All right. So, okay. All right. So I'm about 170. Woo. Two. I'm about 6 feet. All right. We'll call it 5'11" our strength. I used to be 6'1". All right. Let's calculate. Survey says 92. Damn. Okay. All right. You know why? Because this is an investment company. They want me to buy an annuity. All right. All right. So that's all good. All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's go back. Let's change some variables. Okay. All right. Let's say I was the same guy. Okay. But all I have is a high school graduation. Okay. Let's say I've never been married. Okay. How about that? Let's just do those two. Let's do my life expectancy. Oh, 5 years knocked off my life. All right. Stay in school. All right. Get married. Find the right person. All right. All right. Let's just see what happens if I change myself from white to black. All right. All right. So it was about the same. All right. Because they still want people to buy their annuities. All right. All right. So that's just for fun. Play with that. And do find out more about diabetes because it's a really, really important chapter on this. I mean, there's a lot of molecular parts that you guys aren't biologists that you're not going to get, but just expose yourself to it either way. Um, do know that there are tons and tons of new medications out there that change the way your kidneys handle sugar. It changes the way you absorb sugar, and then we have the traditional insulin injection. We have drugs that you can inject that will improve your own body's insulin function. So there's a lot of different things that are out there. All right, guys. that's it for today. I'm going to post this first thing in the morning, all right, because I know you guys are buried with CT1, and it's when this next lecture opens up anyways. All right.